Afternoon, folks. I'm back now. I'll do a bit of my thoughts on the Brexit betrayal. But firstly, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. I'm very humbled. I appreciate it so much. Everybody that has watched, even for a few minutes, any of my videos, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you do like any of the videos, please click a like. If you don't, you could still subscribe, because I do like to have a debate. And as an old saying, there can be no victory without debate, because if you look at it this way, even a boxing match is a debate. It's a debate who is the fittest, who's the strongest, who can punch the better punch. In war, it's who's got the stronger army, who's got the most bombs, the biggest bombs. So it's all a debate, and without debate you can't have victory. So start by saying to the British government, you've betrayed 17.4 million people so far, possibly a lot more that wanted Brexit but thought it would never happen, so they didn't vote. However, we voted to leave, and all you've done is ummed and ahed, and we've got no further. And now you're talking about Brexit delay. Now listen, that is a betrayal of my vote. You gave me the vote to choose. I chose to leave, and I expect you to do what you were mandated to do. It is your duty to do what the people vote you in to do. Now, I'm no politician. I don't want to be. But at the same time, I've got to tell you that you've lost all support from lots of people, not just me. Lots of people have lost the will to live with you people, because you just don't have the backbone to stand up to people and say, you either do it or you don't. Now, we said we don't. We don't want to stay in. We want to leave. So why haven't we left? We've got, what, 2 weeks before we're supposed to leave, and you're all talking about delaying it now? That's not what the British people voted for. And all I can think of saying is, if you want to regain the trust of the British people, then I think you should go ahead with no deal Brexit on the 29th. No deal, purely and simply because one thing, or lots of things in one item. A lot of the younger people will not know things that were taught to us older people, even though there are some younger people that have joined the Brexit, and I commend them, I applaud them, and I respect them. But for the older people, we were taught that Britain, Great Britain, that's Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, the UK, was the hub of the world. Trade from Far East to the other side of America all went through England. All of it. If you want to trade, you came to England to get it. We were, okay, the smallest nation, or probably one of the smallest nations, but we had the biggest trade. Everybody wanted to trade through Britain. Now, the other thing is, the whole world, in its demographics, all has its own language. You got your Chinese, your German, your French, and every now and again you'll get a few here and a few there that can speak other languages. But in just about every one of these countries that are speaking their own languages, their second language is English. English throughout the world. Australian English, American English. Come on, think about it. Use your head. We have the power now to go back out into the world and say, we're going to be that biggest power again. Okay, we're never going to have the likes of the military force that America or Russia has. But we have the best in the world. And I truly believe that. I back the British military in every way. So, Theresa May and the rest of your government, please follow what you were mandated to do, and that is to leave the EU even without a deal, because 99% of the 17.4 don't want a deal anyway, because they know that the route that Great Britain can take once we've left. Now, while I'm talking about politics as well, I will just say this. My family, from as far back as I can remember, were always Labour. Now, I was still Labour when Tony Blair was in, even though I didn't agree with some of the things he did. And Gordon Brown, oh my word, the only thing that he did that was any good was give that guy a smack in the mouth for throwing an egg on him. But then came Jeremy Corbyn, the scruffiest MP I've ever come across. And his little hobbit that sits next to him. And the one that's left, the one that thinks he's so suave and all there, oh my word, please. You did the right thing in leaving Labour, I will say that, but you haven't got what it takes to lead a country. In fact, I can't even understand why your constituencies voted any of you Labour lot in, because you're all cowards. You're traitors to the British public. You're brazenly cowardly, showing that you want to give the UK away. You want to give it to all these foreigners. I'm sorry, but this is Britain. And I've got friends that from various different countries. And I've dated ladies from other countries as well, and I wouldn't say a word against them. They're all hard-working, decent people. It's not so much them that actually is the problem. What the problem is what's coming over now, and the level of their depravity. Okay, everybody deserves to live in peace and have bread and water on the table. Well, they can have that in their own country. We will send them support. Why have all the men got to come here, leaving all the women and children there? Think about that one, because every boat I saw coming across were full of men. There were the odd woman and child in probably one or two of them. The rest were filled with men, fighting age men. And let's face it, those that come over, what happens? They turn into terrorists. Why are you letting them into our country, our nation? Can't you see what you're actually doing? You're driving people not just against a certain demographic of people, but you're driving them against the very government that's elected to lead us and the law that is supposed to protect us. Why can't you do what you're mandated to do. It is not that hard, is it? 17.4 million people voted for Brexit. We don't care whether there's a deal or not. 99% of us don't want a deal, because we know that out in the big wide world, we won't just prosper, we will become global leaders again. And if you can't see that, then step aside and let somebody else do the job. Because I will never vote Green Party, what a waste of time. I will never vote for Democratic. What a load of tosh they are. Labour have lost from everybody I know, Labour has lost it. Lost the plot completely, from the front bench all the way to the top bench. They've lost it. Conservatives, now I voted Conservative in the last two elections, and that was purely and simply because I didn't want Corbyn getting into that seat, because the UK would be, oh my word, it would be such a shit tip if he got into power. So it leaves me with the Conservatives. Now, there's an old saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And in that case, it was correct. Now, I voted for Theresa May because I thought she was going to do what the people mandated her to do. And I believe that she's trying her best. But you've got the left, the far left, the extreme left, then you've got your snowflakes. And they are all trying to prevent Brexit from happening. And they're going to such lengths to try and stop Brexit. It is unbelievable. Now, Brexiteers have been quiet. We don't shout and scream outside Parliament, stop Brexit. What a load of fucking tits. I'm sorry, but you are, you tits. Standing outside Parliament every day going, stop Brexit. Do you know what? Wankers, tossers, traitors, idiots, cowards. The UK, and that includes Scotland, Wales and Ireland, can be great again. If only you would shut your mouths and let them get on with it. But the scruffy, unwashed Antifa, which I've had dealings with in the past, and I've actually got photos and video footage of. Antifa are the scrawniest, scruffiest bunch of morons I've ever had the displeasure to come across. You don't want the best for what is best for the country, for Great Britain. You want to ruin it. You want to destroy the union of the UK. And not only that, at the same time, this multicultural flower blossom that you think is here, that everybody appreciates the diversity of it. Well, no, I'm sorry, we don't. I don't. And that's me. My opinion, I'm allowed to say it. I've got many friends that are from many different countries, but at the same time, there's just too many here. Too many. Each year, there are still over 200,000 more migrants coming to the UK. That's not including the illegals that are here. And there's probably 1 million of them. So 200,000. Now, the last I heard, the Parliament say they were going to build 250,000 new homes in 5 years. Well, who are they going to go to? Because they ain't going to the homeless that live here. People that have fought for the country, offered their life in defence of the country. Now they're living under bridges, under railway arches, in shop fronts. 250,000 new homes in 5 years. That's going to be filled in just over 1 year with 200,000 extra people. So what on earth are you only doing 250,000 for? Because they won't be given to English, British black, British white, Chinese. It doesn't matter whether you're black, brown, bloody yellow. I couldn't care less. The point I'm trying to make is that migration and immigration at present is unsustainable. I know plenty of foreign people that work 1, 2 jobs, even 3 jobs in a week to try and survive. Now, for them, I commend them, I respect them, and I will give them all the loyalty they deserve. But there are also those that are coming over that are being given everything, and I mean everything, homes, money, you name it, while there's people living on the street that have fought for this country. What a disgrace you are leaving them in. So if you want to start gaining the respect of the British public, the wider public, the ones that want to stay British, the ones that want to rebuild Great Britain into the global leader it was, start doing the right thing. Take people off the streets, give them homes, help them learn to survive on their own. Because living on the streets is not surviving. Living on the streets is degrading to just about every single one of them. Admittedly, there are some that will want to stay living on the streets. And for them, that's their choice. But there are many, many people out there, lads and lasses, men and women, even children that live on the streets that would love a home. And you're giving them to foreigners. People that do not respect British law. They have not one. They don't have any kind of loyalty to the country that's giving them salvation, safety, and a life. They have no respect for the law of the land. They couldn't care less what laws we have. They live by their own laws. When will you get that into your thick heads? No, we're all racists. We're all Zionists and all these names that people start throwing around. It is nothing to do with being racist in wanting to stand up for your country or your nation and saying, we've had enough, stop it in the tracks, or we're going to actually stop you. And there's ways and means of doing it legally via the constitutional rights. So think about it. You have 2 choices in life. You do the right thing or you do the wrong thing. And at the moment, by delaying Brexit and risking no Brexit, that is the wrong thing. That is the wrong path to go down. Whereas if you let Brexit happen and we leave on the 29th, you will then have more respect from the British public than you could imagine. However, there are still people that will be on the far right that disagree with even things that I say about Parliament doing the right thing. Being centre and slightly to the right is where I am. I don't hold myself as full centre. I don't hold myself as full right, even though the right is always right. Why is it the lefties and the snowflakes, they are always right and everybody else is wrong? Because they can't stand losing. What a bunch of yellow-bellied, spineless idiots. And I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that's going to bombard me with hate mail and all the rest of it. I don't really give 2 monkeys. You think it bothers me? Do you really think it bothers me? Not one little bit. Because I'm big enough, ugly enough to look after myself. And I'm big enough and ugly enough, and I've found the fact that I've got a voice. So do what you've been told to do. Brexit. Soon as. The 29th cannot come soon enough for some of us, because we will know by the 29th which way we're going to act. Now, in my closing words, I will say, if anybody has listened all the way through this rant and rave, thank you. Like and subscribe if you agree. And if you don't, subscribe, because we can have the debate. As I said, there can be no victory without debate. So, either way, subscribe. We can always have a chat. Simple as that. If you like, click on like. And if you don't like, don't, click on don't like. I don't mind. It just gives me a percentage of people that I'm getting through to, whether they like or they don't, whether it's a yes or a no. So either way, I don't mind. I don't mind even nasty comments, because as I said, I've got broad enough shoulders to keep hold of it. It doesn't bother me. So please, to the government, give the British people what they voted for. Brexit. Thank you very much, people. Like and subscribe. Neil will be back later.